Have you ever met a man who didn't have to try?
He wasn't rich, famous, or even particularly handsome, yet women couldn't stop thinking about him. They'd text him first, laugh at his jokes, and feel strangely addicted to his presence. What is it that he isn't, that others don't? It's not money. It's not luck. It's something deeper. A psychological mastery over how attraction truly works. Because women aren't drawn to men who chase, they're drawn to men who trigger their emotions. And once you understand how the female mind connects desire, curiosity, and imagination, you can make her think about you when you're not even around. So today I'll reveal the 6 most powerful psychological tricks any man can use to make a woman obsessed, all rooted in Stoic philosophy, emotional intelligence, and modern psychology. These aren't games. They're lessons in self-control, masculine energy, and presence. And once you master them, women will feel a magnetic pull toward you, one they can't quite explain, but can't walk away from either. 1. The absence effect. Let silence speak louder than words. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Ethan from Los Angeles, confident, grounded, and full of calm energy. When he met a woman he liked, he didn't flood her with attention. He gave her just enough to spark interest, and then he disappeared for a while. At first she was fine. Then confusion crept in. Then curiosity, and eventually, obsession. Why? Because the human brain hates uncertainty. When something or someone suddenly disappears, our mind starts to fill the gap with imagination. She'll replay your conversations, your looks, your words, wondering what she did wrong or what you're thinking. That's the psychological power of absence. See, most men think they need to do more to make her like them. But the truth? You often need to do less. The Stoics understood this deeply, but restraint builds power. When you can hold back, when you can stay silent while others crave validation, you become mysterious. And mystery is addictive. So stop trying to be everywhere in her mind. Instead, leave space for her imagination to wander. Because when she can't predict your next move, her emotions start doing the work for you. 2. The value frame. She must feel lucky to have you. There's a reason why some men instantly command respect, not just from women, but from everyone. It's because they live with a value frame. This means your life has structure, purpose, and standards. You don't bend them to fit someone else's approval. In London, a man named David was dating a woman named Olivia. She was beautiful, charming, and used to getting attention from every man she met. But David was different. He liked her, yes, but he never made her the center of his world. He had his priorities, his business, his gym schedule, his reading. When she called, he didn't always pick up. When she wanted to meet, he'd say, "I'd love to, but I already have plans." That wasn't arrogance, it was discipline. See, women subconsciously test men to see if they'll abandon their purpose for them. When you don't, she feels something rare, respect. She begins to think, if he's this focused on his own life, what would it take for him to fully choose me? That thought alone triggers obsession. Because value isn't about wealth, it's about self-worth. When you treat yourself like a prize, the world responds accordingly. A man who guards his time, energy, and peace radiates power. And women, especially high-value ones, are magnetically drawn to men who have something to lose. So remember, don't chase, replace. Don't prove your worth. Show it by how you live. Because when your life has direction, your presence becomes irresistible. First, the dopamine loop, right, to keep her emotionally engaged. Do you know why social media is so addictive? Because you never know what's coming next. That unpredictability triggers dopamine, the chemical of anticipation, the same one that fuels attraction. Women experience the same emotional chemistry in relationships. When a man is predictable, her emotions go flat. But when he keeps her guessing, when he's kind one moment, teasing the next, deep one day and mysterious the next, she stays emotionally hooked. Let me share an example. In Toronto, a man named Nathan mastered this without realizing it. He wasn't manipulative, just authentic. Some days he'd text funny memes, other days deep quotes. Sometimes he'd call, sometimes he wouldn't. The result? The woman he dated said, "I never know what he's going to do next, but I love it." That's the dopamine loop, keeping her emotions engaged through variety. The Stoic lesson here: don't live to please others. Live according to your rhythm. Your unpredictability isn't rudeness, it's individuality. And individuality creates desire. So mix your energy, sometimes warm, sometimes distant, sometimes expressive, sometimes silent. Let her feel the range of your masculinity, because obsession isn't built on comfort, it's built on curiosity. 4. The power of emotional control. The calm in chaos. One night in Manchester, a woman tested her boyfriend intentionally. She wanted to see how far she could push him emotionally. Most men would react, argue, yell, defend. But this man, Marcus, didn't. He stayed calm. He listened. And when she tried to provoke him, he just said quietly, "I understand how you feel." Then he smiled and walked away. That moment changed everything. She later admitted, "I'd never felt more attracted to him." Why? Because emotional control equals emotional safety. The female brain associates calm masculine energy with security. When a man stays composed under pressure, it tells her, "This is someone I can trust." This is the essence of Stoicism, controlling your reactions when everything around you feels out of control. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength. When you embody that, you become unshakable. And that unshakable energy creates something women crave but rarely find: certainty. You don't need to dominate with aggression, dominate with composure. Because the man who can remain calm in chaos becomes the one she never forgets." 5. The intellectual edge. Stimulate her mind, not just her body. Here's a truth most men ignore. Women fall in love through the mind, not the eyes. Looks might spark interest, but words, ideas, and perspectives ignite obsession. In New York, there was a man named Adrian who wasn't rich or tall, but he had something more valuable: depth. He'd talk about philosophy, art, and psychology. He'd ask questions that made women think, not just feel. He didn't brag, he shared insight. He didn't try to impress, and he invited them into meaningful conversation. And over time, women began saying things like, "I can't stop thinking about our talks." That's the power of intellectual stimulation. The female brain releases oxytocin, the bonding chemical, not just during intimacy, but during emotional and mental connection. When she feels understood, when you challenge her ideas, when you introduce her to deeper perspectives, she starts to associate that mental high with you. So don't be afraid to show your mind. Read, think, question. When you express wisdom calmly and confidently, you separate yourself from the noise. Because every woman can find attention, but very few find a man who makes her think differently. And when you become that man, she can't replace you. 6. The Stoic presence. Be fully there, fully you. The last and most powerful trick isn't really a trick. It's a way of being. It's called presence. When you're fully grounded in the moment, when your attention isn't scattered, when your energy says, "I'm here," right now, people feel it. In psychology, this is called attunement. Aligning your focus and energy so deeply that another person feels emotionally seen. In Stoicism, it's the practice of mindfulness, being centered in the present, detached from past and future. There was a man named Daniel from Sydney. He didn't rush conversations. When he looked at someone, his gaze was steady, not searching. He wasn't checking his phone or trying to impress. He was just there. And women said being around him felt peaceful, magnetic, even spiritual. Because presence is rare in a distracted world. When you're fully present, you give a woman something she can't buy or fake. Authentic connection. Presence doesn't require words. It doesn't need validation. It's the quiet confidence of a man who knows who he is. That's the essence of Stoic attraction: calm awareness, self-control, and purpose. When you combine that presence with emotional intelligence, intellectual depth, and self-worth, you don't need to chase anyone, because the right women will feel you long before they even understand why. Conclusion. So let's put it all together. Absence creates curiosity. Value commands respect. Unpredictability triggers dopamine. Emotional control creates safety. Intellectual depth builds connection. Presence creates peace and obsession. These are not tricks to manipulate. They're principles to master yourself. When you live by these, you become the kind of man who doesn't seek validation, he creates it. You become grounded, disciplined, and magnetic. Remember, a woman doesn't fall in love with your words, your car, or your looks. She falls for how she feels when she's around you. And when your energy is calm, your words are wise, and your life has direction. She'll feel something she hasn't felt before. Respect, admiration, and longing. Because true attraction isn't about trying to impress her. It's about becoming the man you admire, and letting that energy do the work. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.